Good day. I'm very glad to see you on our course of risk management in summer school of Samara University. My name is Irina Kalushskih. I'm the lecturer of this course, and I'm an associated professor of Samara University. Also, I work as a vice president in Samara Corporation, which have different investment projects and make different business. And in our corporation, I make I responsible for investments, finance, and risk management. And today we will talk about the risk management system, which can give all kinds of corporations, special high technology corporation, the information for preventing some risk situation and give the tools how to manage it. Okay, risk management now. During our lecture, we will talk about what is risk and the 5 main stages of risk management. The first stage of risk management is risk identification, and here we will discuss how we can identify risk. After that, we will talk about value and prioritization risks for corporation. On the third stage, we will talk about risk management methods. We will use the abbreviation NEAT, which give us the whole information about these methods. On the fourth stage, we will talk about risk monitoring and different tools which we can use for it. And on the fifth step, we will talk about risk management culture in high technology corporation. After that, in an hour, yes, we will make a group work where we will try to use and to launch the risk management system for small producing corporation. Okay, why is it essential to manage risk? According to this table of PricewaterhouseCoopers research, we can see that top managers of different corporations told us that the approach to risk management system is one of the top competences which need to be in the tools of top managers of corporations. So it's very important to develop risk management because it's very useful for corporations. What do you think? Is it the goal of risk management to reduce risk? Yes or no? It's very important to understand that we could not only to reduce risk. Of course, no. The goal of risk management is to make management decision based on information about risk. So some risk we will reduce, other risk will be taken, and some risk will be increased if we want to be successful in developing of high technology corporation. And if we are saying about risk management, the goal of risk management for strategic management, make informed risk taking, So we need to have information when we take risks and launch our project, launch our high technology corporation, and to manage it. And if we are saying about operational management, we need to control risks, which can exist when we operate our corporation. And it's very important. James Lamb, one of the guru of risk management all over the world, told us that the only alternative risk management is crisis management. And this is much more expensive, time-consuming, and burdensome one affair. So if we want to be successful, we don't need to use methods of crisis management, and we don't need to wait crisis. We can prevent it by using methods of risk management system and by preventing and discussing risks which can exist for your corporation. But the problem with most people is that they do not believe in accident until they happen. We need to say that it is not stupidity or weakness, just human nature. All of us need to understand that dislike to think about risks is very one of important part of human nature. So we need to be able to think about risk and to discuss risks and to manage it. What is risk? According to our course, we will talk about risk is an external or internal event that affects the achievement of company goals. There are different goals can have company, but if we are saying about corporation, high technology corporation and management in it, we can say that the profit of this corporation is one of the main goal of it. So when we are saying about risk according to commercial corporation, we need to think about profits, about revenues, about costs, and we measure risk in this in these indicators, in these measurements. We need to say that each risk has understandable causes and consequences, and we need to describe, to identify it. And also we can say that risk can be measured by the damage, expense, costs according to the risk, and probability. It's very important to say about probability when we are saying about risks, because the risk with the low level of probability can be taken. We don't need to reduce it because the level of probability is very low. So if we are saying that risks exist, and it's not depend on our imagination and on our mind, then we have two different ways how can we manage risk. The first way is to manage it intuitively, but it's not our approach, because we know that one of the main soft skill for manager is systematic approach. So if we are saying about systematic approach, we need to use risk management system. And now I'd like to give you information about risk management system and steps of this system. We will talk about all kinds of steps of this system, but now I'd like to say that we can see this system on this picture. The first step is risk identification. The fourth step is risk analysis and prioritization. The third step, risk management methods. After that, we need to monitoring risk, and we need to make risk management culture all over the corporation, because it's not the area of responsibility of only risk managers. Now we'll talk about the first stage, risk management, risk identification. If we are saying about risk identification, on this stage, we need to determine factors and events that could adversely affect the goals set by. It's very, very important. It's one of the most important stage, because if we not identify risk on this stage, we will not manage this risk during the whole process. We forget about this risk. We don't make point on this risk, and so we can fail this risk and face with crisis according to this to such situation. So the first stage is risk identification, and this is the main important stage, because we need to identify all kinds of risks that can happen with our corporation. There are different mental traps and prejudices that go away us from the way to find information about risk and to identify risk. As I say, it's very important to understand that all over the world, whole people dislike to think about risks and try to don't think about it. I'll give you some examples that show us that there are we are not we dislike to think about risk. So the first, I'll ask you some questions. Some questions have no right answer, and this depends on your opinion. So the first question for you, in what group is it more likely to meet people that the average grows 195 centimeters? Answer A, 10 men, the group of 10 men, and answer B, the group of 1,195 men. What do you think? I start the voting. Please, what do you think? A, group 10, or B, 10 men, or B, 1,195 men? Uwa, thank you. Joanna, thank you for your answer. Star, Alberto, thank you. Anybody else? Aisha, Ika, Riska, can we have Aisha? Thank you. Ika, Riska, what about your opinion according to this? Okay, I can put the results of our voting for group A, 4 students, and for group B, 3 students. Okay, this question have a right answer. Really, in group of 10 men, it's more likely to meet such high people, yes? 195 centimeters. It's a very tall people. For example, we can meet basketball team, and they will be very, very high people. If we are saying about answer B, it looks like the answer for these questions, because the numbers in questions and in answer very similar. So it's one of the way when our mind give us a mental trap and give us the wrong answer, because thinks that it looks very similar, and maybe it is the answer for the question, but it's not poor for us. Also, we can other question. 600 people are infected with a deadly virus. What kind of treatment program do you choose? We have program A, and if you select it, will survive 200 people. And if you select program B, then the likelihood, the probability that 600 people will survive is 40%, and the probability that no one will survive 60%. What do you think? I ask you to vote for program A or program B. Alberto, thank you. Durga, thank you. Puva, yes. Aisha, thank you. Stara, Joanna, what do you think about this? Chica Riscos, thank you. Stara, yes, I see your answer. Johanna. We have 6 answers. I think that I can publish the results. 5 students vote for program A, and 1 student vote for program B. Okay, we will comment it later. This question have no right answer, as you see. The other answer. What opinion do you choose? A, receive $1,000 with probability 100, and B, get $2,000 with probability 50% and 50% chance to get nothing. What do you think about this situation? Please vote. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. We also have 6 answers, 5 for A and 1 for B. I can say that Puva is for B. We can say that Puva is more risky in his nature than the average people all over the world, because to people who choose B have an entrepreneur kind of mind and try to make risk and make more and be more profitable. The average people all over the world choose program A more often than program B. Okay, the other slide, and here we have now about again about deadly virus. 600 people are infected with the deadly virus. What kind of treatment program do you choose? If you select program A, the 400 people will die. If you selected program B, then the probability that nobody will die 40%, and the probability that 600 people will die 60%. I start the voting. What do you think, program A or program B? Alberto, thank you. Durga, thank you. Puva, thank you. Aisha, Stara, Chica, Riska, what do you think about, what do you choose? These questions have no right answer, just your opinion. Aisha, thank you. If somebody would like to comment by your voice, you can do this. You are welcome. Stara, Chica, Riska, thank you. I give the result of voting, and I'd like to make to to that you should see the results. As you see, as somebody of you maybe see that this question and this answer are equal, absolutely equal the previous information, yes, this program. But here we said about surviving people in program A, but the next slide say about dying people in program A. But it is absolutely the same. Here, if we'll survive 200 people, then will die how many people? 400 people will die. But look at our results. In this situation, 5 people choose A and 1 people choose B. But in the other situation, in the similar situation, 2 people choose answer A, program A, and 4 people choose program B. So we can say that we change our opinion in some minutes only because of words. Yes, so our mind make for us different answer, different choice, only depend on words. So when we say about risk management, we need to understand that we could not stay only on make a decision only according to words. We need, as a managers, as a professional managers, to understand the situation, to check the situation, to check numbers for situation and make our choice. But our mind like this mental trap, and please, when you start your professional activity, you need to be professional and to be to not depend on your mental traps and put your decision on, for example, numbers. Okay, and the last question, what do you choose? A, losing 1,000 with a probability 50% and 50% chance not to lose anything, or lose $350 with a probability 100%. I start voting. And what do you think? Alberto, thank you. Thank you. Durga, Aisha, Chica, Puva, thank you. Stara, what do you think about this situation? What is your choice? Okay, thank you. I publish the results. As you see, when we are saying about risk, human nature, the first situation is about risk. The second situation, B, is not about risk. As you remember, on the previous situation, only 1 people will be risky. But now we can say that we have extra 1 people who like to be risky in the situation about what? About lose. Sometimes we dislike to be risky when we are saying about profit, but we try to be risky when we are saying about losing, and it gives for even very, very big corporation very difficult situation with damage of risk. For example, it's very difficult to stop investment project if you investing in this project very many capital, for example, $1 million, to stop, to say that it's really unsuccessful losing project and to stop to develop this project. Sometimes people like to be risky and make more and more investment capital in this not successful project, and make their losses more and more. So we need to understand risk, we need to control risk, we need to measure risk in each step of your management career, successful management career, and maybe not very risky, not to take risk when you really see that this situation is unsuccessful. Okay, thank you for your voting. Thank you for your answers. We can see that in different situations, and depends on situation, depends on even words of situation which describe situation, we can make different decision. And one of them real important skill for managers, especially in high technology corporation, to think about risk, to identify risk, and to describe this risk. If you dislike to make intuitively process and to make some decision on intuitive and mental trap way, then we need to use systematic approach. For example, such 3 methods how to identify risk can give us this systematic approach, and in this situation we will not lose some risk from our mind. The first way, how can we identify risk? It's way companies go structuring. We need to understand what is the goal of our company. For example, it is profit. If we are saying that the profit is our goal, then we need to understand what factors influence on our goal. For example, it's revenue and expenses. Then we restructure the factor revenue, and we say that our revenue depends on goods sales and service sales. So we are saying about risk in goods sales and service sales. For example, in goods sales, we can say that there exists some risks. According to currency fluctuation, according to depreciation of any customers, new competitors in our market, and also currency fluctuation and low demand. Also, these factors, examples of risk, we can identify from the factor good sales. For example, if we are saying about expenses, then we can say that there are different types of expenses for each corporation. For example, salary, taxes, materials, research, and others. For example, if you are saying about materials, what kind of risk can we identify? According to our slide, we can say about price fluctuation and, for example, late delivery. So when we know our goals, the goal of our corporation, when we structure the goal of our corporation on different indicators, then each indicator we can divide it on different kind of risk, which is according to this indicator. So the first way, how can we identify risk for our corporation systematically? It's company goals structuring. Also, we can use the other way how to identify risk is using risk classification. For example, for your company, you can make the classification. You can divide all kinds of risks on internal risk and external risks. If you are saying about internal risks, that you can say exist risks according to management and staff, financing, technology and IT, research production. If you are saying about external risk, which influence in our corporation out of our walls, it's customer demand and market, regulation and legislation, suppliers, competitors. Each kind of class in our classification give us information what kind of risk can be, with management and staff. We can lose some people from our team, so we need to have the reserves which give us human resources. What about financing? Lack of capital now during the crisis which exist according to lockdown and coronavirus pandemic. Lack of finance, lack of capital make very high level of risk for corporation. How can we reduce this risk? We can have the pool of banks which give us loans, short-term debts, short-term loans, long-term loans, for example, so we can identify risk about financing and then manage it. So for the second method of how to identify risk systematically is using risk classification for your corporation. And the third method is using the experience of the staff. You can use here three methods how to identify risk with help of your staff. You can give staff interviews, you can make seminar with staff and make a short questionnaire. If you are saying about this method, you can read the description of this method on the next slide. But as a professional risk manager, I can say that the seminar with employees is one of the most effective methods. How can we use staff experience systematically to identify risk? Because of staff interviews is very time consumed for risk managers, and short questionnaire is very short and very poor for risks. You should know many information about your corporation. You should make a very well formulated, well done questions according to short questionnaire. If you want to really detect, really to identify risk from this short questionnaire. So if you want to identify risk from your employees, from the experience, the most effective way is the seminar with your employees. So if you are saying about systematic approach, then we say that the first stage of this approach in a risk management system is risk identification. And your information about risk you can make in such kind of table or different kind of tables, but you need to have the columns in this table risk description. The first column of your risk management system table is risk description, and after that you can describe effects of the implementation of risk, causes and consequences of risk. So the first step, risk identification. After that, after the first stage, risk identification, we go to We go to the second stage, which named risk analysis and prioritization. When we know what kind of risk can we face during the developing our corporation, high technology corporation, we need to understand about this risk, something very, very important. We can measure our risk in two indicators, with help of two indicators, probability and damage. It's very important to understand the damage of our risk and the probability of risk existence. There are three methods how can we systematically think about damage, risk, and measure the probability of risk, and then how can we prioritize, make ratings of risks if we want to manage it. The first method we can name expert risk assessment. Your experts were professional experts in your branch of industry, in your field of research, in your product, maybe in your markets of in the markets of your product, should measure two main indicators. What kind of indicators? Yes, the damage, the size of potential damage, and the probability of existence of occurrence of this damage. After that, we can make such kind of table where we can evaluate the size of potential damage: high size, middle size, and low size. Of course, the risk which have high size of damage should be very should be very careful, very important for us, because we need to think about this risk, because they can really destroy our corporation. After that, we should analyze the probability of our risk and make the same rating for our risk according to probability: high level of probability, middle level of probability, and low level of probability. Of course, which kind of level of probability we should focus on? What do you think? High level of probability, of course. Of course, high level of probability. High level of probability, because if the level is very high, then it can exist, and maybe it's not a risk, it's really occurrence situation which should be managed. Okay, if we are saying about risk prioritization, according to expert assessment management, we can make assessment criteria in a risk map. For example, the visualization of such kind of map you can see on our slide. Probability, damage, and we can put each kind of risk according to the level of probability and the size of damage in these fields. What kind of risk do you think should be moved from their position? What kind of risk? As you see, according to this line, we see that two main risks which have very, very high level of probability and damage should be moved. We are saying about research risks, because it has very high level of damage and middle level of probability, and also low risks, because it has the middle level of damage but very high level of probability. Then what kind of risk we can take, we can accept? this risk in the green zone. Yes, this risk can be taken because it's not, maybe it's not where it's a middle level of damage, but it's very low level of probability, for example, for tax risks, or it's a middle level of probability for currency risk, but it's very little, very low level size of damage. So it's one of the tools for managers, for risk managers, to prioritize, to understand, to analyze risks according to expert methods of prioritization. The other method is bow tie visual risk assessment. When we understand what kind of risk, on the previous stage we identify risk, then we are trying to understand threats and consequences of risks, and in our management system try to understand where it can influence on our process, and is it very important for us or it's not very important. Is it very high level of damage and high level of probability or not very high. But when we are saying about management, you know that you need to manage by measurement indicators. So what kind of two main measurement indicators according to risk management? It's the level of damage risk and the probability of risks. We need to measure each on this step. And the other and very mathematical way how to analyze risk and prioritize risk, it's sensitivity analysis and scenario analysis with different tools as electronic sheets and mathematical modeling. You can model, you can imagine, you can create the model, a mathematical model of your corporation and the goal of your corporation, for example, of your profit, and then you can make different scenario how and what kind of indicators can change, and gives the wrong goal, the wrong profit, the low level of profit, what kind of indicators, what kind of risk influence more, and what kind of risk influence less. Then in our master program in Samara University, when we are saying about high technology corporation, high technology management during master program, yes, we use this and study these tools. But I can say, as a risk manager, as a professional risk manager, that the expert way, the first way, this way to evaluate, to assess risks, is one of the most effective way. So if we are saying about risk management system, we can say that there are on the second stage of this system, the second stage, which named risk analysis and prioritization, we have three methods, and the most easy method is expert risk assessment. Also, you can use bow tie method, and you can model with mathematical methods the sensitivity analysis and scenario analysis. It's not very difficult, but you need experience in it, and it will be very, very useful tool. According to our risk management system table, we have three main columns in this table, which can give us information about risk. For each kind of risk, we need to measure damage of risk, probability of risk, and then risk assessment. By multiplying damage and by probability, we can assess the damage of risk and can prioritize this risk if we want to manage it. The third step of risk management system. We say almost 48 minutes about risk management, and we say that it's very, very important to make systematic approach. Sorry, Alberto, what is your analysis of SPK to control a process? Is a risk analysis? Is yes. At the end of our lecture, we will say that risk management system exists not out of other kind of analysis and system and process. Risk management system is very, very deep integrated in all kind of process in your corporation. So when you make some kind of control, some kind of analysis, you make it to understand what kind of risk can exist and how to manage it. So if we are saying about managing risk, then we should go to the third step of our risk management system. The first step, risk identification. The second step, analysis and prioritization risk. And the third step, risk management methods. Here we are talking about how to manage risk. And little joke, 4 frogs sitting on a log, 3 frogs are going to skip. How many frogs will stay on a log? What do you think? How many people, how many frogs will stay on a log? We will not vote. Some of you can give us answer in our chat. Oh, maybe some of you think some answers, but I'll give you such answer. For example, for you as a future high-tech managers, professional high-tech managers, sometimes 4 frogs stay on a log. Why? Because it is a big difference between the decision to do something and really to do it. We need to understand that the first step, the risk identification and risk analysis, will not be successful and will not be useful for our corporation if we will not do something according to this information. According to this information. Alberta, I'll give you answer later. We will. I try to end our lecture, and then we will discuss some question according to your question, for example. And, so we need to act if we want really manage risk. We need to act. How can we act? We can use this, I think, funny abbreviation MIT. And this abbreviation gives us 4 ways to manage risk. We can mitigate risk, we can eliminate risk, we can accept or take risk, and we can transfer risk. So we have this abbreviation MIT when we are saying about ways to manage risk. If we are saying about risk mitigation, then we can make some decision how to reduce it. For example, to have a pool of suppliers for our materials, a pool of our customers for our successful sales, and so on. If we are saying about risk eliminating, sometimes we need to reject our project, stop the development of our corporation, or have an alternative choosing with the lowest risk. Sometimes it's not possible to eliminate risk, only to stop developing corporation. It's not very useful and effective way to manage risk, but sometimes we need to make it if we want to save our capital for future successful high technology corporation and high technology projects. Also, we can accept, sometimes we can accept and take risk because it have maybe the low level of damage and low level of probability. And if we want to develop, we can accept risk with low level of damage or low level of probability. And the fourth method how to manage risk is risk transferring. When we use a hedge, when we use insurance, we are saying about risk transferring. We pay some for our insurance, and then if risk will happen, then the damages of this risk will cover by insurance company. But I can say that there is one kind of risk that we could not transfer anyways. Never. We will never transfer one kind of risk. What kind of risk? What do you think? What kind of risk we could not transfer? You can think about it. You can type your opinion in our chat. Nature risk. What about nature, Aisha? If you are saying about some nature disasters which can happen, we can transfer the damage of this risk. We can insure this risk, for example. If we are saying about risk with finance, we can transfer it to our bank. But as it typing on in our slide, that we should not be, we could not transfer reputational risk. For example, if there are aircraft accident, almost all damage of this risk will cover by insurance company, because aircraft company cover this risk and make very high level of insurance payments to the insurance company. But we will know that this kind of airlines aircraft company have this accident. We don't know what kind of insurance company covers the risk, covers the damage. We know that the reputation of this company not very well because of this damage. Yes, absolutely, we can hire an insurance company in all kind of risk and cover our risk with insurance company, but reputational risk we could not transfer. We could not transfer this risk. If you are reading what Alberta type us. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But we are saying about the goals of company, the goals of corporation. Sometimes accidents really happen, and we could not. When I'm saying about risk transferring, I say about the damage of risk according to goal. if the goal of our company to save life, then we should eliminate any kind of risk, which can give the other result. Absolutely, sometimes we can, as Alberto type us, sometimes we can protect and technical risks by doubling, tripling the same function. Absolutely. But I can say about one kind of risk that we couldn't transfer. It's a reputational risk. It's very important to care about the reputation when we are saying about risk management. Okay, thank you. So when we try to mitigate risk, we need to prevent the causes and reduce the probability of occurrence risks, and eliminating the effects of reducing the damage from risk. Alberta, I think that Boeing 737 MAX will fly. According to the results of Boeing and to the price of the shares on the market, on the capital market, but it's they need a time for it. Okay. Also, when we are saying about different methods of risk management, we need to understand that the cost of the risk reductions should not be more than the potential damage of risk. For example, if we are saying about the damage of risk and the reduction, sometimes we should make it, we should implement event, sometimes we should use professional judgment, and sometimes it's not economically efficient to reduce, to mitigate risk. Please be careful about it when you manage risk. We should not manage and we should not pay money for risks, for risk situation if it's really very level of cost for reduction, for risk reduction, and very low level of damage of this risk. So if we are saying about risk management system, we need to have the table of risk management system, and the last two columns in this in this table say about risk management methods. Here we can put how we are going to manage risk, and as we know that there are 4 ways to manage risk. Abbreviation: mitigate, eliminate, accept, and transfer risk. And also we should put the people who are responsible for this risk, and deadlines. Also, we are saying about the 4th step of risk management system. It's risk monitoring. It is the last step when we launch our risk management system, when we identify risk, when we make risk analysis and prioritize risk, when we choose the method how to manage risk, then we should launch the risk monitoring system. And we need to understand what kind of methods give us effective result, what kind of risk we have forgotten to identify, and they happen, and we need to manage it. So you should have a cycle in risk management system. When you make the first step, the second step, choose the methods of risk management, and then risk monitoring. Make risk monitoring, understand the results, and after that, again, make the first step, risk identification. Then you improve your risk management system, make it really systematically, and prevent crisis management in your corporation. And also, I should like to say that, as Alberto said earlier, that we need to launch in our company, in our corporation, a risk management culture, when not only risk management department responsible for risk management system in corporation, but on each employee think about risks that can happen, and try to analyze it, to value the damage and the probability of this risk, and to think how can he or she manages risk and prevent it. Then when we launch risk management culture in our corporation, it will make us more profitable, more successful. It will make us more useful and more effective in our goals achievement. Especially, we should think of what kind of goals we make for our corporation. Okay, this is all information that I'd like to say you about risk management system. We should remember about Albert Einstein words. Everything must be done as simple as possible, but not simpler. It's not very complicated process to launch a risk management system, but we need to launch it. We dislike to think about risks, but we need to think about the risk and to manage it, because the only alternative of risk management is crisis management. But it's more time-consumed, more expensive, and more stressful for everyone in corporation. I'll give you my contacts, and you can please feel free to email, to phone, to type me if you are really interested in risk management and different ways how to manage it. I'd like to say with you about some very main points in our lecture. I'd like to ask you and to give some of you opportunity to answer. What is the only alternative for risk management? And Alberto, thank you. And what is more expensive, stressed, and time-consumed for corporation? Crisis management or risk management? Please, who can give us answer? Irving, please give us answer. What is the only alternative for risk management? What do you think? What kind of management is the only alternative for risk management? Irving, what do you think? Or maybe somebody who can give us right answer. If we don't launch risk management system in our corporation, then what kind of management we will face with? Uva, maybe you can give us right answer. Chika, Riska, somebody can give us right answer. I will type it. The only alternative for risk management system is a crisis management. Also, you can use your microphone and give us answer. Okay, the first answer is crisis management. The only alternative for risk management is a crisis management. And what is more expensive, stressed, and time consumed for corporations, crisis management or risk management? Puva, what do you think? Please give us answer by your voice. Crisis management or risk management more expensive, more stressful, more time consumed? Tara, maybe you. Alberta, maybe you can give us. Absolutely. Alberta, thank you. Really, crisis management is more expensive. And it's one of the causes, is one of the causes why we need to launch risk management system. Okay, what do you think? What kind of indicators can we use to measure risk? What kind of indicator can we use to measure risk? Advantages and disadvantages, damage and probability, causes and consequences. Chika Riska, maybe you can say us what kind of two main indicators we need to measure, we can use to measure risk. Damage and probability, Aisha, thank you for your answer. And I think that we can absolutely agree with Alberta, who typed in our chat that it's better prevent actions than correct actions. Absolutely, I think I agree with you. Alberta, yes. There are 5 principal risk measures. We have two main, Chika Riska, we have two main risk measures. It's damage and probability. Okay, what should we know to identify risks? What should we know about what should we think when we try to identify risk? Advantages and disadvantages, damage and probability, causes and consequences of risks. Durga, maybe you. Alberta, thank you for your answer. It's absolutely right answer. Causes and consequences. Give us information when we try to identify risk and to understand risk and to describe risk for our colleagues. Okay, the last questions. What are 5 steps of risk management system? We talk about 5 main steps of risk management system. The first step, what is the first step? Aisha, maybe you, what is the first step? Absolutely, Chika Riska, thank you. To identify risk, it's the first step. What is the second step after risk identification? What should we do? Thank you, Chika Riska. Yes, risk analysis and prioritization. We need to understand damage and probability of risk, and then we should rate, yes, make the different place to our, yes, evaluate the rank of risk, absolutely. On the third step, yes, on the third step, let's talk, absolutely. But when we say about the third step, we should say about, I type it, we should say about risk management methods. Risk management methods. The fourth step is risk monitoring. And the last step is to launch risk management culture. to launch the risk management culture it's not a step, it's a system which gives information for our risk management system. It should be launching, it should be improving every day in corporation. Okay, what are 4 methods of risk management? 4 methods with funny abbreviation which give us information how can we manage risk. Aisha, thank you for your answer. Yes, absolutely. Avoidance, reduction, sharing, retention. Yes, Chica Riska, thank you. You can use this name of this step. Also, we can may use abbreviation MIT. And we can, when we are saying about risk, we can mitigate, eliminate, accept, and transfer risk. Or as Chica Riska give the others, but absolutely right and similar name for each step. And what kind of risk could we not transfer? What kind of risk we could not transfer? Absolutely. Who can? Tara, Puva, maybe you, Irving, maybe you give us information. Competitive risk. We can transfer. We can put, for example, this the responsibility of for our sales on the distributor or dealer company. Then they should sell our products, and they should battle with our competitors. It's not very easy, but it could be. But what kind of risk we could not transfer at all? We are saying that reputational risk we couldn't transfer at all. For example, Amazon gives the different companies ways to transfer their competitive risk sometimes. Okay. Thank you for your attention. We talk about risk management system very briefly, but we need to talk about it. We need to understand that to launch risk management system is very effective for company. On the next stage, I would like to give you opportunity to think about risk. Please, in our notes, in our general notes, find the reference to the next our role play case study. Please open this information, and I'll do the same. Now we can see the task for our group working. I divided you on 2 groups, or maybe we will make it in 1 group, for example. No. I divided you on 2 groups, and in your group you should model high-tech corporation which have the main goal to produce, to assemble 4 decks of cards and which are suitable for selling to customers and to earn the largest profit. The order of assembling is from 6 to 8. The order of color, hertz, cross, diamonds, and peaks. And the first open card is ace peak. You have some information about how you can earn profit. This information. The first table gives you information about revenue. The second table gives you information about your costs. What do you need? You need to imagine and to describe the process of card assembling in Glyphy. I'd like that you use this service for creating model. How are you going to assemble the 4 decks of cards? Also, you should think about risk and make such kind of table according to risk of this process. And please fill 2 table. How many profit are you going to earn according to this information? And the other table, the table with risk descriptions. For example, I'll give you the example how you can describe the risk. And I'd like that it's very difficult task, that you find the most important and really exist risk in this process, which crushes the profit of hundreds groups of high technology corporations which make and model this process. Okay, I divided you on 2 groups. I think it will be it's possible that I'll divide you randomly, and in 20 minutes, please think about risks of this process. 25 maybe minutes. Mm-hmm. 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 Let's start your process. You can ask me, ask with chat, ask through the microphone your questions. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's talk. Let's make it in 1 group together. And the first step, what should we do? And to discuss how can we organize the process of card assembling. For example, we can use Gluffy, the program, as you can see, such kind of program, to make the diagram, how to describe how we are going to make our process. For example, on the first step, we will sort out a stack of cards by colors, for example. After that, by size, for example. Who will do that? Who is responsible for that? And what should we do next? Alberto, maybe you, by your voice, will say us, how can you imagine, how can we create this program, this process? Or somebody. Is it clear what are we going to do? Please vote. Is it clear what are we going to do? Yes or no? Is it clear what are we going to do? Please vote. If it's not clear, we will try to do it in other ways. Tara, thank you. I see. Aisha, thank you. Uva, maybe you will answer by your vote.